Hello everyone, I am Monica. In this video, we will explore one of the most important concepts in React, that is components. Mainly, component is a reusable piece of our UI. You can create small pieces of code like button and a form and also combine them into a full web page. In React, everything is made using components. Even a full web page is just a collection of smaller components. Means each and everything in the React application should be built by using components only. Multiple components are combined to build a complete web page. Okay, let's see in detail what is components and what is purpose of them and use of them and all. Okay, now first we will go for why we use components. Okay, why we use components, because components provide us first reusability, write once and use multiple times. For this purpose, we are using components because it allows us to write once and we can use them anywhere we want. That kind of code means we are writing something, some button in one functional component. We want to use that same button in another code. We can import that button, means that function at that file, and we can use that. Okay, we will also see practically after explanation. Okay, now next it provide modularity. Modularity means break our UI into small parts, means it is very easy to manage and debug the bugs also. Modularity means break down our code into small parts. Because of these parts, individual components, we can easily manage all our web page. Okay, next it provides us maintainability, easy to maintain. Okay, next readability, keeps code clean and organized. Next we will go for types of components. In React, mainly we have two types of components. One is functional component, another one is class components. Okay, first we will go for functional component. Functional component. Okay, these are the most commonly used components. Rather than the class, most of the applications are used functional components only with React hooks. Okay, let's see the syntax. What is the syntax for that? First, we need to define functional component with the keyword function. Okay, function keyword after function name. I am writing greet. This is the function name, and this is a curly braces. This is the basic syntax of our functional component. Within this function, we need to return something like I am returning this h1 welcome. Okay, this is the one functional component. This is the basic syntax of our functional component. You can call this functional component by like this. Wherever you want this message to display in whatever the files, you need to call this like this. You need to call this greet function like our HTML tag. Okay, like this you need to call. Okay, how to call or use functional component. Okay, we need to, like this, you need to call this functional component. Okay, now next we will go for class component. Class components. Okay, first we will see one basic syntax of this. We need to define our class components using class keyword. Okay, and next, this is the class name. Okay, the main thing in the class components is the created means the defined class must be extends the React component, which is in our React library, like this. Extends React dot component. This is the main thing. Without this extends React component, the output should never be displayed. Okay, this is the main thing for our class component. Okay, after this, you in React components we have a method that is render. Okay, we need to call the render method, which is in our React library. Within this render method, we need to return the output whatever we want to display. Return h1 welcome by h1. Okay, like this, the class component should be defined, and calling class component is also same as functional component, that is like our HTML tag within less than and greater than symbols. Okay, you need to call the class component similar to the functional component like this. Sorry, this is great, not great. Okay, I think you understand what is functional component and what is class component and what is the basic syntax of them and all. Okay, if you observe that this clearly, this is the syntax of how to define functional component. Okay, now this is the syntax of how to define the class component. Okay, fine. Now we will go for practical, means how it works. Okay, now we will go for the project folder, which is my app. This is my file. In this source folder, we have a file named index.ds, which returns all our means which renders our output. Yeah, here in this root, I am writing some code here. Let's see what happens it. In I am taking one header tag. Within that header tag, I am taking one h1 tag. Okay, in the h1, I am writing welcome, and I am taking another paragraph tag in that components in React. And then here I am writing another paragraph tag, that is let's see about them. Okay, I am written this part here in the render. Let's see what the output. We already know that how to run the code. npm start is our command to start the server. The server is running. Let's wait for the server. Okay, this is our localhost address. Follow this link. Yeah, you can observe that this is the output of our component. Means without using any components, we are rendering this message. Okay, now we will see one functional component. Means here I am taking one function. In that function, I will write that. Okay, so that I need to define our function here. Okay, function. We already seen the okay function. I am taking as header as my function name. Okay. Next, we need to open curly braces. Within that, we need to return our output, whatever we want to return. We already know that we need to use fragments for returning multiple tags. Okay. Now I am taking this same output here. Means I want to return the previous content using functional component, so that I'm writing like this. We need to remove this. Okay, this is our functional component. Now we need to render this. How to call the functional component? We know that we need to place it, use it like a HTML tag. Okay, this is the functional component and how to render this. Okay, now we will go for the server. Let's see what happens. Just I am refreshing it. Yeah, the output is same. If you want to, if you have a doubt, the previous and this is also same like that. For the difference, welcome to React. I am writing. We'll go for the server. Yeah, you can observe that the function component is working perfectly. Okay, like this, we will define our functional component and how to call it. Okay, now if you want this function in other file, like in app.js, you want this. Okay, for that, you need to import that. Okay, how to for that importing, you need to export this function first. Export default. What is our function name here? Header. Okay, like this, you need to export this function. Okay, like this, we are define functional component and rendering the functional component content as well as exporting the functional component. Let's see class component. Okay, for our future purpose, means for better understanding, I am placing it in commands. Okay, now we need to Define class components. Class, what is the class name here? Header, that needs to be extends and component that is within our React library. Okay. After this definition, we need to call one method called render. Okay, this is from our React library. Within this render method, you need to return whatever you want to return here. Okay, you need to use fragments for multiple. I am making this as this content here. Okay, here components in React. Let's see about class components. Class components. Okay, this is our how to define our class component. For after this, we need to render this root dot render of what is our functional component name? Header. You need to call the class component like this. Let's see the output. Go for, yeah, you can observe that here. Let's see about class components. Components in React. All are displayed. If you don't use this extends, if you don't extend the React component, let's see what happened and how output will be. Yeah, if you clearly observe that there is nothing is rendered, means nothing is displayed in the output because we are not extending our class component. Our class component is not extending the React component so that no output will be displayed. Now our output is visible. Okay, this is the functional component and class components, how to define them and how to write them and what is their basic syntax and all. This is our main React components. Okay, next we will see for uh, props and states, how to use functional components using props, states, that and all in further videos. Thank you.